Hello, and welcome back to the lands of Aecathan. No professionals, no fancy tech, just a group of women playing an all-original game of Dungeons & Dragons. I'm Jeff, and just a quick reminder, if you ever see a giant bird sitting on top of a temple, don't worry. It's a bird of prey.
Oh, wow. How about that one?
Ouch. I can tell you're very pleased with that one.
I am very pleased with that one. It makes up for last week's, which was,
So bad.
All
yes. Right. So, let me bring you up to speed on what happened last time. After doing a bit of shopping and going back to the Shouting Pirate in Aermagh and meeting with Captain Warbender, the 4+ decided that they were going to stay the night and availed themselves of a safe house run by VS of Vex and bedded down for the evening. Most of everyone slept the entire night. Zorith, on the other hand, after getting in her 4 hours of meditation, got up, woke Athgar, and had him send a message to Arelakis for her, and then she alone teleported to Thunder's Edge, where she had Arelakis escort her to the Ivory's Wrath so that she could have a talk with Aloric.
a much-needed talk.
Went very well. She was able to then return home with no problem. She informed everyone else when they awoke the next morning, and there was a little bit of consternation, but all turned out okay. And it was decided that they were going back to the Fairy Sanctum to gather up the Clever Sprite and her crew and bring them back to Aermagh. So they contacted Father Dilbiss, who was on hand to meet them when they arrived, and he escorted them back to the Traveler's Respite, but along the way he uttered a quick prayer to Torora that he be able to help guide the noble adventurers that he was leading, and actually received information directly from Torora that would allow him to do that, but not as a group, individually. And so he revealed this to the assembled and gave people the choice of whether he could advise them as in front of the other members of the group, or if they should do it independently. Tasha said, "I have no secrets, go ahead." So he explained to her. And then Gwenlaren volunteered to be next, and Father Dilbiss decided that perhaps she should have that conversation privately.
Oh, we all said that she should have that proper conversation.
Yes. They did. And afterwards, she was told to send Athgar over. They had a conversation, Athgar and Father Dilbiss, at which point Athgar returned to the table looking upset, and he just kind of grabbed a handful of bacon and left the respite. At this point, Arabelle, Tasha, and Zorith had a conversation with Gwenlaren where she basically explained mostly what Father Dilbiss had told her. And then Father Dilbiss was able to talk to Zorith and Arabelle again at the table, basically just telling them the information that he had received about them as well. Arabelle then received a message from Athgar, who was in the Citadel on stage, just sort of sitting and playing his lute, and asked if Arabelle would come and offer him some advice. So they had a chat, and feeling a bit chagrined, but knowing, at least in his mind, what he needed to do, Athgar agreed to accompany Arabelle back to the Traveler's Respite, and that's where we pick up.
Ooh, that was a lot.
Yeah, well,
It was a
for
lot.
no combat, a lot happened.
Right?
So that's where we pick up tonight's story, with Arabelle and Athgar walking back into the Traveler's Respite. So, Gwenlauren, Tasha, Zorith, you are at the table with Father Dilbiss when the door opens, and you see Arabelle walk in, followed by Athgar.
Yeah, I don't say anything.
Athgar walks up to the table, kind of nods to everyone, and then looks at Gwenlauren and says, "Could I borrow you for a moment?" You're muted.
Sure.
And he walks back to the table where Father Dilbiss had been talking to the both of them individually, and begins what looks to be a rather intense conversation. Father Dilbiss just kind of glances over. Oh dear. Well, I hope I haven't caused too many problems.
Are they having their discussion off camera?
Yes.
Okay.
This
sure it
is
will be fine.
information that the goddess wanted them to have.
Yeah,
Yes,
it'll be fine.
that is very true. But the human heart is an interesting and dangerous thing.
Isn't it, though?
Boy, howdy.
And they're both young in their own way.
Yeah. Well, what shall we talk about? Perhaps all of the things that we need to do.
Mm.
Do you recall where the Susaran were coming to the festival, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
they're going to be at Thunder's Edge
They're going to Thunder.
Oh, boo.
because that's the closest.
It is. I wish we could go.
We can't go to Thunder's Edge now.
I know.
And why not? Has something happened? Are you no longer welcome?
Well, we are, but Athgar kind of snuck out.
Oh dear.
Athgar,
I mean, his father knows, and basically,
he disapproves.
well, Athgar got him on a technicality,
That's true.
and so his father can't not approve, but he's very angry about it.
So it's probably best for us to not go poke that bear.
Yeah.
Clever boy.
Yes.
Plan is to be in Aermagh,
Hmm.
which will be where our gold dragon friend is. So.
Do you know that for certain?
No, we're going to talk to
Oh, I thought
somebody
that.
about that tonight.
I presume
Ah,
It's a pretty good guess.
I see.
he would come there to own thing.
I wonder if someone will come here.
It's very probable,
Yes.
but you don't know that for sure, and it's supposed to be a surprise.
Ah, I see. Yes, that does make a certain amount of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I forgot about that. I think we told him. I don't remember.
Well, you know that I will always keep your confidences.
Yes, we do know that.
Yes.
We rather appreciate it.
Well, it's part of the job.
Yes.
But it's also my pleasure to be able to offer you an ear that you need not worry about filling with whatever might trouble you.
I'm writing down all our talking points with Mother Tassa right now.
Oh, that's a great idea. Thank you so much, Sori. So we need to talk to Mother Tassa, and we need to come up with a plan for dealing with my hometown.
Oh yeah, this is just Mother Tassa. People are sad. Well, yeah, people are sad they're not helping already. The dragons, are not helping already. Unexpected approval early. The song did well. We can't be at Thunder's Edge. Her ideas on how to help the towns. Her ideas on how to kill the dragons or how to destroy the dragons. How involved they want to be with future
Sorties?
yeah, different towns and how they want to be,
Oh, okay.
do they want to participate in town stuff? Do they want to be left alone? What do they want?
Yes. How can we help facilitate their wishes?
Yeah. And everyone needs to be on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
And are all the dragons, their dragons, on the same page too?
Good point.
I mean,
Correct me if I'm wrong, but you did say something about being considered dragonkin?
oh, that's
Yes.
not
Then you should be prepared for them to simply ask you.
Ask us what?
What they should do, how much they should be involved. You are their connection to our world.
Oh, no.
The dragon ambassadors, kind of.
That's
Yeah, but-
actually a very good way to put it.
He's not wrong.
I understand that. Dragon ambassadors, but depending on which dragon it is and which area, they may want to be left alone. So
We have to take their wants and desires
yeah,
into consideration.
they've been away for a while and cooped up and haven't done their own things for quite a long time, so
Well, from what I have experienced, usually when you are dealing, at least in the histories that I have read, there are always ambassadors from other countries or other cultures. Perhaps there would be an ambassador to each town or each area, and that ambassador could conceivably be changed periodically so that it would not fall to any one creature.
That's nice.
It is
I
how
like-
I have read about it being done.
Okay.
I guess we will have to ask them when it comes to it.
Yes.
Okay, I have quite the list.
There is, in fact, this is in my mind because a missive has come from Aermagh a couple days ago, asking for a mediator.
Between?
It did not say, but if I were to guess... Alright, I'm dissembling. I have done a bit of divination to try to determine what is happening. Apparently, there is a group of orcs who have made contact with the government, asking for asylum.
Oh, what? Wow.
Yes.
In your divination, did it seem like they were actually telling the truth?
Oh, I wasn't able to determine any such thing. It was all I could do to determine the identity of those who will be involved in said negotiations. There is... I assume that I can count on your discretion as well.
Well, yes, of course.
There is quite a discussion here in the sanctum as to who we should send. The Temple of Balmus maintains that this is a trick and a feint, and so we should send representatives from their church to be prepared for the betrayal which undoubtedly will come.
Well, I would just like to point out that as a bard, I have a spell called the Zone of Truth.
Yes, but there are ways to defeat that. Those who are strong enough of will can resist its effects.
Right. But how willful are orcs really?
That's the thing, we don't know.
We don't know.
We have no
They could
idea.
be quite willful.
We know, well, we assume from the last war that the dragons have been selectively breeding them for decades.
Oh, that's interesting.
So only the cleverest and the strongest survive.
Well, those are all unknowns. We literally have no idea.
Yes. And clearly, as you did not know of this, it's not something that they have chosen or feel the need to involve you in.
True.
Which I
We
suppose...
can't do all the things.
Yes, I suppose that's a good thing. It seems that you have enough on your plate.
Maybe.
Yeah.
You hear footsteps and you see Athgar and Gwenlauren walking back from to the big table from the corner. Both of them look, well, not unhappy.
We've just been talking about things. We're going to talk to Mother Tassa, and strikingly have found out that no one told us. And it's just us in here, right?
Yes.
Yeah. No one told us.
Although Anboto is back behind the bar.
Oh, well, I mean, Father Dilbiss just told us, and I would just tell them.
Yeah, well, you get the sense that either he trusts her or maybe she already knew.
Or she listens and, just like a good bartender, knows a little bit about everything, just says nothing.
Right.
Ooh,
I mean, there's
Draconic.
there's a reason that she's in the position she's in.
Right. Basically, I tell them that the orcs are looking for asylum. Some of them are. We were not told. So that's interesting.
No. No, they should be
Nope.
they should be sent away. How could you possibly trust them?
I don't know how to answer that.
That... Phew. I almost wish I didn't know. Well, that is one of the issues that we are trying to determine, is how we can ever find trust between ourselves and orc kind, given our histories.
I mean, we know a half-orc who was along the lines of a thief, and who has definitely changed their ways, and now she's a soldier. I mean, I don't know how to answer that, Afgar. It's a difficult. I don't know.
Well, the half orckin have been accepted into our society because they are who they are through no fault of their own. But these are full-blooded orcs. These are dragon servant orcs that are trying to find a new way onto our soil. This disturbs me.
Oh gosh. So, if you were created by a dragon and you have no power of your own to do whatever you want, maybe like you, they don't want to be in servitude to their original positioning. What say you then?
Also, if they have been bred by dragons, they didn't really have a say in who they were either.
Yeah, that's kind of my point. It's tough. You can't. I mean, I don't know. There's no easy way to go around this.
And this is why there has been such intense discussion. The only one, and no offense to you, Lady Gwenlaren, but the only church that we have managed to rule out is the Church of Costas. The other three are still in very intense negotiations. It may end up that a team of negotiators, one from each, will be sent.
I think that's not a bad idea.
Yes and no. If we can find three who can work together.
Ooh. Well,
What I have seen, and I acknowledge that I would be in the same mindset as the negotiator they are considering from the Teroran Church. The Teroran Church is of the attitude, much as you have just stated, Lady Zorith, that these creatures have had no say and therefore must be treated with understanding and sympathy. The Church of Balmus maintains that this is simply another attempt to gain a foothold on Aecathan soil, and that the betrayal is inevitable. And the Church of Dresphine simply sees this as an opportunity to learn about our former opponents and perhaps find a way to negotiate, if not a peace, at least a ceasefire.
I'm with Dresphine's church on this. I also don't necessarily think that it's just we should show them. I mean, like, I'm torn. I agree, but yeah, I do have to look at it from both ways. We could be burned.
And what
They
if
may want
Costas?
Actual solace.
well,
We felt...
it rolled out.
Yes, we felt that playing pranks on dignitaries was not the best way to negotiate anything.
Not the only option.
Yes, they have been encouraged to support from afar. And simply
Sometimes a little
pray...
levity is just what you need.
Perhaps not in this situation, though.
That is generally the conclusion that the other temples have come to, yes. We do appreciate levity, especially the Church of Dressfiend understands the role of humor in the world, but even they have agreed that in this particular instance, perhaps that is not our strongest method of approaching the situation.
I'm just saying it's a lot easier to negotiate with people when no one's wearing pants.
That's not negotiation, that's copulation.
Not necessarily. People are really funny when they're not wearing pants.
I mean,
I begin
Sure.
to see why Costas chose her.
Uh-huh.
He's my bud. I like him a lot.
I am never more so than this very day struck by the differences in the way the deities interact with their followers. Yours has traveled with you, has adventured with you, has eaten and slept and swum with you. Mine
not necessarily.
spoke to me. Well, he's looking at Gwen when he says this. Mine spoke directly to me for the very first time but a few hours ago. And I have been in her service for many, many years. It would suggest that perhaps they are more similar to us than we have considered. That they each have their own personalities and their own style.
I
It
think
is-
Costas just likes to be amused.
It is very easy to simply take what has been and has been passed down as rote. But often the truth is much more complex. And he kind of glances at Athgar. And Athgar just kind of goes, You're muted.
Sometimes the pursuit of knowledge is more important than laughter.
Indeed.
Well, on that I can agree. Well, I should probably go and attend to my daily rituals. And I do have classes to instruct this afternoon. But I do believe you were looking for... You were here for a reason.
Yes.
We need to go to the Sprite
Yes.
Oh, yes.
before our errand tonight.
Well, they were here for... Unboto, how long did the crew of the Clever Sprite stay here? They were here 2 nights. They have returned to their ship.
We were gone one night.
We were only gone one night, right? We slept in the safe house, and that was it.
We were gone one night. Yesterday we said we'd be back, slept in the safe house, and have returned here this morning.
Yeah, they stayed the last night that you did.
Oh, okay. We just didn't see them.
Right.
Oh. Okay.
I was like, wait, no, they were 2 nights. Yeah. I do not believe they were planning on departing anytime soon, however. So they may be still at the dock.
Let's see if we can catch them.
All right. Well, I will bid you a good day if I don't see you again before you depart. You know you have my blessings and my hopes. Be well. He
Bye.
gets up and
And-
heads out.
Yeah.
That is a frighteningly insightful little creature.
It's not a creature.
We're all creatures. Sorry, it's the bard. I can't just say person.
You could.
It's boring.
Sometimes boring is important.
Oh, that's a horrible thought.
Everything has its place.
Well, let's just say that I've never found boredom's place for me.
Already.
I really don't like it.
Either just cost us.
That's when I used to get into the most trouble as a child, was when I got bored.
I would think you got in more trouble when Gwen got bored. But
I had too much work to be bored.
as a child,
Yes. I had to watch him. Can you imagine?
Yes, I can. I was there.
I think perhaps we view it a little differently.
That's likely true.
Well, let's head out on our way to the Sprite.
Yep, let's do it.
The campus is mostly quiet as classes are in session. The occasional student can be seen darting from one place to another. One of them stuffing her face full of something covered in white. Otherwise, it is a relatively pleasant afternoon, and the walk to the docks is brief and uneventful. As you approach, you do see the crew at work. It looks like they're doing some basic maintenance and upkeep on the Sprite.
Well met.
And the captain is up on the bridge, and she says, "Oh, so you're back."
We are. We didn't want to keep you in suspense for long.
Well, I appreciate that. Although, I'll let you know that everybody did have a pretty nice time at that inn. I had to get them out of there relatively quickly, or else they were going to become soft. And the rest of the crew just kind of, "Pff, yeah, whatever." So, what's the word from Aermagh? What's the word from Costids? Did you find out what happened?
We did. Turns out it was a really big explosion from some kind of magical explosive device.
That's got to be one pretty big magical device.
Well, I think they're kind of like potions. And there was a stockpile of them, and they all exploded.
Potions, like...
Do you even know that?
You mean like...
Do I know that?
We know there was a big explosion.
Okay.
That's it.
Oh, okay. Sorry. All I know is there's a big explosion, and I think it was magical.
Do they know who was responsible for it?
Platinum hammer.
Oh, those assholes.
Yeah.
We've run into them a couple times. I've got my own suspicions that they were the ones behind trying to take Sigrid.
I'm pretty sure they were.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, from the description we got on them, it sounds like the same people.
So,
Well, I can't imagine that that the actual guild that does such things, who shall remain nameless, I can't imagine they're pretty happy about this.
I believe they lost some people in that explosion.
Oh, shit. So it's going to be war then? That's what you're saying?
Most likely.
Oh, 2 wars at the same time. One's bad enough.
so we're a bit worried about you all.
Oh, we're fine.
Yeah. But
So
those people are still coming after you.
Oh.
yeah. And we talked to the person who shall not be named.
Oh, did you know? And how are they?
They would like us to help you. They invite you to come dock the Sprite in Aermagh for a bit.
Under their protection.
And by invite, I mean we're to escort you. Kind of.
I see. So we're not being asked, we're being told.
Given the options, they assumed that you would probably be much happier having the Sprite docked somewhere safe.
Well, they're not wrong. I'll be honest, they're not wrong. And there are worse places to lay up for a bit.
There are few that could offer you the level of protection that this group can.
Aye, that's true. And it's their base of operations, so even if the platinum assholes do come looking again, they're gonna have a much harder time trying to get to any of us. Well, alright. Then, well, we're just doing sort of routine upkeep at the moment. But I could be ready to go and, I don't know,
Tomorrow?
2 hours? Oh.
Well, we do have one more errand to run here, and we're meeting someone this evening.
Oh, right, so in the morning then?
Yes.
Alright, good. Well, are you happy, you lazy layabouts? You've got the entire rest of the day to finish what you're doing. You hear one muted, "Yay!" And you see Iarla going. Well, it'll be nice to have you back on board either way. And, I'm trying to recall. Have you two desert folk been on the Sprite before?
Guess not.
Well, you're in for a treat. There's no faster ship plying the river than the Sprite.
That's true.
How exciting.
I think it'll be an interesting experience for you. Tell me, do you get seasick?
I have no idea.
What? That's a thing?
Yo, yes.
Oh, dear. Well, let's hope that I don't. Well, if you do, just remember, off the side. Charming.
You're going to be tossed off the side?
No.
No, you're supposed to toss off the side.
No. Throw up.
Oh! Okay. Just checking.
I'm sure I can write a song about it if you are.
We'll see.
I would, as someone who appreciates your songwriting ability, everyone is going to be very, very interested in the follow-up that you write to the lost guardians of Aecathan. I would think very carefully on the subject matter.
No. Okay.
Perhaps a song about vomit would not be an appropriate sequel or
I think it would be hilarious.
Maybe I'll just make it a song that's for us.
Oh, goody.
You could play it for Costas.
You know, I'm pretty sure that Costas hears my songs without me playing them for him.
Yeah, but he'd be so flattered.
Uh-huh. He doesn't need it. Remember, he's not my deity.
I'm just looking out for him.
I really appreciate that. I do.
And I'm sure he does as well. So.
Oh, he does.
Cool.
All right. We were thinking of going back to the respite for dinner tonight. So, if y'all are going to be there, maybe you can join us.
That would be lovely.
I'm sure that that woman who runs the place can push a couple tables together.
I'm sure she can.
All right, back to work. You've seen these people before. You know who they are. Stop gawking. I love giving them a hard time.
You do.
And you're so good at it.
Well, they know it comes from a place of affection, mostly. So... And they get back to work, but they're all kind of grinning as they do. All right, so what would you like to do now? You've got probably... Well, it's lunchtime. Just a little after lunchtime. And you've got till evening.
I guess we should go eat lunch.
Yeah, eat and zip through this. Should we just let it go? Because we don't really have anything to do.
Okay.
Right.
All right. So you while away the time through the afternoon, hanging out at the Traveler's Respite, maybe wandering to the bakery at some point just for a snack. And it gets on toward evening. This is a night when the Citadel is not in use.
What would anyone like to do this evening?
Well,
We're waiting for,
I mean, I imagine she's going to meet us in a place where.
Yeah, we didn't say exactly where, did we?
I presume she'll come in her Mother Tassa form, so here maybe?
All right.
Where are we at?
The respite?
Yeah.
I guess. I guess we could ask her, but.
It's probably a good guess this is where we would be. In the evening, we wouldn't be on campus, really.
Well, I wasn't sure. Like, there's a lot of room up towards the north of town if she wanted to meet us there in that form or whatnot. We weren't really specific, though.
Arabelle, you hear a voice in your head. Good evening, Arabelle. I have arrived. I am visiting an old haunt. If you would meet me in the Citadel, at your convenience, you can reply to this message.
Lovely to hear your voice. We'll be there shortly.
You see the body language that tells you that Arabelle's just received a message.
Has she arrived?
Yes, she's waiting for us in the Citadel.
Let's go.
The walk to
We
the
have a
Citadel
haunt.
doesn't take
Yeah.
very long.
You said an old haunt.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
As you enter, you see that the central chamber where the stage is appears to be lit. As you peek in the doors, you see that the center space where the audience was is bare, and there is a lone figure standing in the center of it.
We go on over to her.
I give my best bard's bow.
You see Mother Tassa looking just like she did the last time you saw her in that form. And she immediately, when you bow, she smiles and walks over and hugs you. And then she
I hug back.
offers Arabelle a hug.
Hug her.
And Zorith. And Gwen.
Oh. We do this. How nice.
And, okay. Out of character, help me out for a second. Has she met Athgar?
I
I
don't.
I don't think so.
I don't
Did
think
she
so
ever
either.
come with us to Thunder's Edge? She did not.
No.
Mr. had been to Thunder's Edge. We don't know if he would have been.
Right.
Right.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, let me see.
Yeah. It's a tough question, Jeff, that you asked us. You know?
Yes. We're going to assume she has not in this context anyway.
Correct.
And she turns to Athgar and just kind of gives him the once over.
Allow me to introduce you.
I think I know who this is, but please.
This is a fellow member of my Lion Clan. and the son of the lord of the clan.
Yes, this. Oh my goodness, this is young Athgar.
Indeed.
You've grown, boy. Have we met before, ma'am? Not officially, but I've seen you several times. I used to travel exclusively with the Sasarin. Oh! You're the old... Oh, sorry.
Athgar.
Yes, I am the old gypsy woman. Is that what you were about to say, young man? Yes. Well, it's not at all inaccurate, or at least it wasn't at the time. So, you are traveling with these women now? I am fortunate enough to say that I am. Well, you're in good company. So, I will say it is wonderful to see you all again.
And
It's
you.
wonderful to see you.
After our adventures, I found I quite missed having you around. But there has been much to do, and much of it tedious, as cleaning always is.
May I ask what you're cleaning, and from where?
Lairs that are suffering from over a century of disuse and disrepair. And a few, I'm afraid, have
New occupant?
vanished.
Oh.
The geography has changed in places from what we remembered, and some of it is simply not there anymore. So, in addition to cleaning, we have been helping those who have been dishomed find new lairs.
I have, and I whip out my notebook, some business questions to take care of. But
Of
I
course.
also have another question that I just thought of. And I don't know if you need me to roll, but Gwen here met some people who are not from our land. Do any of your kin know of a different land in this area?
I'm afraid I'm not entirely sure what you mean by a different land.
They mentioned towns that we've never heard of.
Such as...
Glimmeruth?
Oh, Glamaruth. Yes, I know of Glamaruth.
Where is it located from here?
Far to the west. You mean you've had no contact with...
Yes, and that brings up another question. I believe she said they had never heard of dragons?
Exactly. Exactly
And-
so. Of any kind. They were very confused when I explained what was happening here.
So that's something else to add to the list.
Well, that would suggest that they also suffered from the effects of the shattering. They must have lost their histories. Although
so there were?
Of course. We used to travel the globe, although there were some places that we chose not to go, those controlled by the chromatics, but otherwise there was much travel. There was commerce. There was communication. And all of that has stopped, apparently. Well,
Right.
that will likely need to be addressed at some point as well.
Yeah.
So would you call that place Western Aecathan?
It's still
west
the
of us,
Aecathan?
right?
The world is called Aecathan. We are on a circular globe.
I didn't know if maybe I had entered a different world.
No.
I didn't get there by traveling.
So, you... Oh.
Oh?
There was a disturbance in the magical weave, but a few days ago.
That's when I ended up in this place.
We will talk more about this once we have dealt with the current hostilities from the chromatics. It may very well be time to reestablish contact.
Really?
They are your countrymen. They inhabit the same world as you, likely worship the same gods as you.
Though they sometimes call them by different names.
That is common. I recall my sire telling tales of a culture far to the south where they eschewed all of the gods in favor of worshipping princes from the elemental plane.
Ooh.
It was a very strange place. He always talked of it with amusement and bewilderment. I'm assuming you've had no contact with them either.
I don't believe so. The farthest we know is, as I think about it, Sandy Cove and I'm looking at the map.
It'd be Thunder's Edge.
Yeah, Thunder's Edge and Sandy Cove is the farthest we know south.
So
Well,
none of your countrymen have crossed the desert.
Mm-mm.
Not yet.
Not since the war, right? Is that what you're talking about, the desert?
The Jagravanans,
Have the wastes.
yeah.
Yes, the God's Wrath Desert. That is solely the domain of the Jorvanans. To travel in it is to take one's life into one's hand, as, well, we all discovered when we went to fetch Gwen.
It's not safe, and Thunder's Edge is all that keeps them from, I guess, spreading.
So it's on the other side of the desert.
Watch.
Well, the community I spoke of to the south is much further than just the desert. But the desert does extend into the areas west. I would be surprised if someone had not ventured westward and made inroads there. Unfortunately, it may be the Jagravanans.
and maybe.
I mean, I guess, do we roll a history check to see if we've ever heard any of this?
You have never heard of any
Okay.
of this.
Our new business is exciting and also not exciting. It's business.
Well, and she pauses for a moment, closes her eyes, and gestures, and 6 chairs appear. Why don't we sit?
All right, I sit down.
They're cushy.
Woohoo!
Zora, you need to learn that trick for the campfire.
I do. And I scratch my head a little bit, like just kind of absently. So our song did well. It's
So I have heard.
nationwide, but along with that came a unexpected disapproval. Everyone loves the song, but the people in Aermagh want to know when everyone dragon-wise is coming, because they're starting to be sad that the new dragons are not helping keep Aermagh safe.
Impatient.
Impatient they are.
I had not considered, but they are right to be, in all honesty. It may be that there is something that we can begin to do. We know that the chromatic sorties are coming from the east, from the ocean. Perhaps if we begin to patrol far enough out that we will be out of sight of land. But perhaps we can reduce the attacks or turn some back before they even get close to the shoreline.
That would be wonderful.
Much appreciated, I'm sure.
Yeah, I have a... Sorry, I'm taking notes.
Glad that you do.
Here is my quick laundry list. Any idea on how to help the town of Aermagh, which we just talked about? Any ideas on how to help destroy the dragons that people can do, because they actually had made their way, a red one had made its way down to Sandy Cove. We might have alluded to that. I think they were, we were pretty sure they were looking for us, which is not good.
Gegawintuth did mention that there had been an incursion toward the south. She was aware.
Then 4 things that are super quick and have nothing to do with, like, destroying dragons. How involved with the future and different towns are some of the dragons? Is everyone on the same page about helping against the chromatics? And then would some of them be willing to meet with different towns? And then are we dragon ambassadors, or can we get dragon ambassadors for different towns and who everybody would be assigned to? I know it's a lot. I'm really sorry.
Very excited.
Well, let me see. I'm trying to determine the best order to answer your questions in.
And if you can't get them all tonight, then they're just kind of...
Well, we have, the leaders of the different septs have had many discussions, and it has been agreed that we have declared a Krethoth, and Zorith, you know what that means, and that word carries with it a cold fury. It basically means that the entirety of the dragons have declared a racial vendetta.
Oh.
And Mother Tassa says, Zorith, I assume you can explain to them what this means. But know that it means that we are united in driving the Chromatics back to their lands.
Oh, the chromatics. Okay, good. And I explain. It's yeah. I'll explain. Do I
Okay.
explain now?
If you want to, or you can say I'll explain later.
I'll explain later.
As for what occurs once that has been accomplished, I will admit we have not had any discussions. So, the rest of your questions about what our role will be in this world once the battle is concluded, at least this episode, I can't say.
I would say that you should possibly consider creating some new alliances. Your counsel would be invaluable to our leaders.
Well,
And-
that's kind of you to say. However, given that we have been so long absent, I am not certain that we're in a position to offer much counsel yet.
Well, all right.
We need to learn this new world before
All
we
right.
can offer any wisdom.
I also think maybe once we have established some sense of peace, what you do have is knowledge of history that we have long forgotten.
Including the other
And
places.
as a bard, I would think that historians from all of the towns would love to, record what you remember so that we can piece together what happened before the shattering. And maybe that that combination of the historians and the dragons together could help establish some sort of sharing of knowledge so that they could tell you what has gone on in the last 100 years and you can tell them what happened before.
Once we have dealt with the chromatics, there is another task that we have discussed, and that is reclaiming Thath Toksun.
Ooh, yes.
Because that was the center of learning. That was where people went to share knowledge, to share ideas, where new spells were developed, where new medicines were discovered. In addition to being the homeland of the elves. And it has lain under Thwilnu control for far too long. But that will be an entirely different mission. But what you suggest is the role that Thoth Taksun did once play.
Ah,
A lot of people may be there. We may be liberating some elves.
That is my hope. Whether they can be reclaimed, that will remain to be seen. The Thrilnu are not gentle with those enslaved, and their minds do tend to weaken and become damaged over time, depending on how much they resist. So I can promise little, but we can hope.
So the Metallics would like to take care of the Chromatics on their own without our intervention?
Well,
Or
we...
what are your thoughts on
I assume
Chromatic
that
annihilation?
I assume that the complaints that you mention are coming mostly from the settlements on the eastern coast.
Yes, Aermagh is being raised by dragons, and Dark Coast Keep had to take in refugees from Belinamard that orcs and dragons, we assume orcs and dragons, I don't even think we really know what actually happened up there other than the town was
decimated.
Yes,
decimated.
Solriosa informed me that she scented orc spore, but they
Question.
had been convinced to
Fine.
leave somehow. Perhaps they chose to leave, but they were not there when she got there. In fact, some of the settlers from your keep had begun to return to Blinismod.
Yeah. So, what about orcs who might want to ask for asylum? What say you on that? If they might ask for asylum. Any thoughts on that?
For the first time since you've known her, you see utter confusion cross Mother Tassa's face. I'm sorry. What exactly are you speaking of?
I don't know full details because we weren't involved, but there is a rumor that a set of orcs have come asking for asylum and want a mediator.
They
Her-
want asylum in this land.
Yes.
My understanding. And the three temples, and I look at Gwenloren, not Costas, are trying to decide how best to mediate or even to choose a mediator. Because Aermagh asked for help from the Sanctum here in trying to decide how to best. I mean, maybe having one of your kind on a mediator of your kind on the team may not be a bad idea. I don't know. I don't know.
I believe that will be essential. I shall dispatch Remedy immediately, as soon as we are completed here.
To here or to Aermagh or to...
So
I'm sorry. I don't...
To Aermagh. She will make herself known to your Lord Bonethane, and make it known that it is our wish that she be included in these negotiations.
I don't mean to make more
Oh, no. This
upset.
This is either a very clever ruse or a turning point in the orcish species. But I want eyes I can trust there to advise me and the rest of us. So I will dispatch her. She should be done with reestablishing her lair.
Also,
Oh, go ahead.
sorry,
Nope.
do you know if there are any dragons that are near Strothaman's End? And then I describe where that is.
I believe
Forest of Aermagh.
I believe that Aecathan was one of those who found his lair gone.
Oh, no.
And I believe that he has taken up residence in the Trezon Mountains. So he is likely closer than some of the others. But I don't know that if we are to run sorties against the chromatics over the ocean, he will insist on leading them.
Ah, okay. That is the town I am from, and it is run by slavers.
Oh.
Slavers who...
I was under the impression that such practices had been wiped from this country, but...
Except for that little town.
We also
And
hope.
out in the desert.
Well, yes. And the ruler of that town wants me back or dead.
I see.
And I'm going to have to do something about it. I'm going to have to end that tyranny and free as many people as I possibly can.
And you should.
You're
Such-
muted.
Need to.
Such things should not stand. No goodly creatures should suffer others in bondage like that.
Agreed. And I'm just trying to figure out when I should do that. You know, we have priorities.
Yes. Well, I am certain that you will figure out when. Although I would say, every day that you wait, those in bondage will suffer.
Not sure we're big enough, strong enough to go against a whole town. I mean, I know there's others out there that will help us.
If
But
the orcs are in earnest. If orcs can find it in themselves to turn away from the tyranny of the chromatics, to stand up to those who have enslaved them, I know in my heart that there are those of your races who can and likely have done the same. I suspect you will find more allies than you think. Hope is a very powerful weapon, if wielded for good. Have you other questions for me?
I have a question for you, but it doesn't concern everyone else. So I can wait until everyone else's questions have been answered.
Well, we are taking them in no particular order, Lady Gwynlauren. If you have a question, by all means, you have as much right to ask as any of the others.
Well, it's rather a personal question.
Good. Something a little different.
You've recently regained your memory of a whole different kind of family than the one that you had here.
Yes.
How have you understood your responsibilities to your new family and your responsibilities to those that you left behind in the Sassarian camp?
That is a question I have grappled with. But I have had to accept that my responsibilities to the rest of the dragons, especially now that they have appointed me as speaker, that must be my first priority. I do look in on my human family from time to time, and I have communicated with Aermagh and made certain that he is ready to fully lead the tribe. And he assures me that he is. I am not assured, but I am hopeful.
Did you feel you had to choose? Because it sounds as though you've chosen.
I am but one dragon, and even as many years as I have lived, I have never mastered the art of being in two places at the same time. And so I must make the same choices as any other living being as to where to spend my energies and where to direct my focus. My human children I taught, and I believe I have taught well, and they can look after themselves. Aermagh knows that if they find themselves in dire straits, he need but contact me, and I shall either fly to their aid or send aid. But I believe with all that is happening, the time has come for me to let my human children grow up and let them find their own way. I am now responsible for hundreds of dragonkind who are as confused about this age as I am. but they are looking to me for guidance. And I have spent an enormous amount of time already traveling the world and trying to get a sense of who our fellow beings are in this age. Some have changed, some I find have changed very little. The druids of Ambliantha are as steady on their path as ever they were, and greeted me with no awe, no surprise, simply an acknowledgement that we had returned. And I will admit that unflappability was something I always enjoyed when dealing with the druids. But other places have new names, and they all have new faces. Some of them are descendants of families we knew. Others appear to have come from we know not where.
I thank you for telling me this. I'm sorry if it was impertinent to ask such a
No.
personal question.
Not at all. You are dragonkin, and you are friends. And Lord Athgar, I hope that I will be able to count you as a friend as well. Oh, Lady, I would be honored. We'll see. It is an interesting time. We are happy to once again be part of the world, but we are also sad that the world we knew is gone. And there are adjustments. Some that have been made, some that are being made, and some that will need to be made in the future as we attempt to adapt to what has happened to us. So while we are all very happy to once again be awake and part of the world, there is some ill ease with determining exactly what our part of it is. But we'll figure it out. And you will figure out whatever you are trying to determine.
I thank you for your wise counsel. I figure there's no one who would know better.
On that issue, I believe I can speak with some wisdom, yes.
I have a question.
Yes.
And I point at my scales.
I noticed that.
How many am I gonna get? Am I gonna, like, I don't know what's going on. how?
I believe I owe you an apology, Zorith. I should have anticipated this and spoken to you about this before.
I mean, there are great things. I no longer wield wild magic. I have a grasp on magic that is before been tenuous at best, and now the spells are there. They're there when I need them.
In times long ago, before the Shattering, there were folk who wielded magic of various types, arcane magics, who worked with dragons so long that they began to share a portion of their spirit. and in particularly for sorcerers, this began to manifest physically. Have your wings started to grow in yet?
And
I'll take that as a no.
stock still.
This will likely occur.
Wow.
You're muted.
Sorry, sounds like you're not done growing yet.
This is something that the sorcerers of old looked upon as a benefit of their close association with dragonkind. Although it did mark them, they found that the stigma, for lack of a better word, was more than offset by the benefits. For you, it may be a bit different, as you will be the only one in recent memory. But I'm certain that you will not be the last. You will simply be the first in a long time. But I do note with some pleasure that your scales are coming in golden.
They are.
As is appropriate for the first Draconic sorcerer in over a century.
Yeah.
Well, when they do start to grow out, there will be some minor discomfort for the first year or so.
Oh. Okay.
If I remember correctly, I will see if some of the others remember better than I. There was a salve that helped, but I will have to see who among us remembers its creation. But
All right.
you need only let me know when they have begun to emerge, and we will see that this salve is either created and delivered to you, or at least its assembly will be made known to you.
Excellent. The how do I refer to you? The dragon? I feel so, now that I say you're kind, we are also, dragon kin and friends of, but, may I say that, you're sending a dragon to, Bonethane. I missed her name, by the way. I would have paid much better attention.
Rimidi. Rimmidi.
Remedy.
It's the bronze you met in the cabin.
Yeah. I remember, I just didn't have her info to look up, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That the desert dragon?
No, that's Gagointhuith.
Okay, right.
Remedy, while she goes to Bonethane for the mediation, Bonethane and the people of Aermagh are wanting to know when they would see, the thing that we talked about when they would see, help from the original dragons. I just wanted her to keep that in mind. Maybe she can talk to him about that. Because we didn't have an answer for him. And so that is the initial reason we wanted to talk to you, was because we didn't want to speak for you, but we know it was important.
I will have her inform him that they can look to see the attacks lessen in frequency. And he can disseminate that information or not as he will. We will not be seen until the festival, but that doesn't mean the effects of what we will do will not be felt.
With the festival, where would you like us? We can't really go to Thunder's Edge right now. It's kind of a long story because Athgar is with us, his father.
He's a little prickly right now.
Yeah, his father's unhappy.
If you will indulge me, I will attempt to explain quickly. My father has a path for me set that I do not agree with, and I was able to find a political means of freedom that my father cannot object to, but he is not happy. That has allowed me to come out and travel with these fine ladies. You politically and socially outmaneuvered your father. Was this done publicly? Well, not really. It's probably common knowledge at this point, but it was really just negotiated between myself and the head sorcerer, who is his right hand, his seneschal. That does not surprise me. Gago did mention that there was a rather irascible dwarven sorcerer in your town that she finds quite amusing.
We do too.
Who Gago said that?
Yes.
Yes.
So, but I don't understand why this means you cannot return. You have succeeded. Is this something that will be nullified should you step back into the city? Oh.
We don't want to rub his nose in it.
Most of us don't.
We don't want to rub his nose in it. And we want to keep the two that do want to rub his nose in it away from him.
Is rather prone to holding a grudge.
Well, if that is the case, then I would suggest it does not matter when you return.
So true.
Oh.
He's not going to let this go.
Will a week or a month or 6 months or a year change anything?
It will not.
No, it will not. And you have indicated before that you consider that to be a home. Well, it is my home, my only home. Are you going to let the displeasure of one individual keep you from a place you desire to be? Well, in all fairness, he is the leader. And is he more than one man? It feels that way a lot. But no. Then I will say to you four, as Dragonkin, you should not let any one creature dictate your choices. You are more powerful than that. And if this creature, this man, does not recognize that, perhaps it should be pointed out to him.
I am so glad you said that.
And you see, Athgar is actually kind of going,
Sometimes, for a diplomatic solution, we don't point out such things.
but especially for the event of our official return to the world, such a thing should not be hidden.
She makes a fine point.
Are you ashamed of being named Dragonkin?
Not at all.
No.
It is our great honor.
With Lord Tremaine, we don't need to go and flex our muscle right now.
Well, that is your choice. But I would suggest that it is in your best interest to make it known that you are considered family by us. And that
He knows that.
and that those who treat you badly would not be looked upon favorably by us.
He knows that we're considered Dragonkin, and I'm not worried about Lord Tremaine treating us badly. I'm worried about him locking
Athgar.
Athgar into a tower and marrying him off before we can get out of town.
I wish to point out that I can now cast Teleportation Circle.
You know what I mean. I also don't want him to put you in a position to tell you you're choosing between clan honor and your own desires, I'm guessing.
Oh, yes. That's right, it is clan rule.
Mm-hmm.
That may be something, young man, that you will have to negotiate in addition to everything else.
Negotiate?
Yes. There is always room for negotiation, as long as both parties are coming to the table with the intention of actually negotiating.
Well, see, there's the problem.
What does he have to negotiate?
Oh, he has lots.
No, I mean, in a negotiation, both parties have to give. And so we know what we would want Lord Tremaine to give Athgar his freedom. But what would Athgar offer?
That would be up to Athgar to decide.
He does have a ace in the hole in that Tremaine doesn't want leadership to not stay with his son. Ultimately, he's just
That's
a little mad right now. So
So you're talking about abdication as a threat?
I don't know that threat is the right word, but as a negotiation tactic. But I don't think Tremaine's in the frame of mind to hear that right now.
Nope.
But I presume he'd rather Athgar rule Thunder's Edge under Athgar's terms than not at all.
That sounds like an ultimatum.
Well, he has, as I see it, really three choices. He could choose another successor.
Would you be okay with that?
It would depend on who he chose.
Mm-hmm.
There are some I would willingly serve, and others I would violently oppose.
Well,
He could take a mistress and sire another son.
He seemed to not like that plan.
I don't think he'll do that.
Or he could negotiate with me.
He could, but also, I mean, you kind of don't have to have him rule you if you are about the world. You don't
No.
have to call Thunder's Edge.
No, I understand, but there are many that I care about who would remain in that city, and there are some that I would not want to see subjugated to the rule of.
That's the issue, is that if it's not Athgar, most others are quite pleased with the system as it is. And at least Athgar is willing to consider change. So if another successor is named, things will remain as they are. And that's not okay.
I will say, given that I trust all of you, that I am not only considering change, I have already made plans for change. Some of the traditions of the clans simply are no longer appropriate in a more modern time. And there is an instrument in place through the clan structure where traditions can be honorably retired.
Oh?
It's not known by many, and it's almost never used, but it does exist. And for quite obvious reasons, the taking of chattel and the indentured servitude are two traditions that I believe are no longer worthy of a noble clan.
That's excellent, Athgar.
Long overdue.
Agreed. But I am not afraid to return. It
Well-
is not... So long as Aralakis is the lead sorcerer of the city, and so long as I remain his apprentice, at this point, Mother Tassa just kind of goes, like, wide eyes and then a little bit of a smile and a nod as she realizes, apparently, how he did this. As long as those two facts remain the same, I will continue to have my freedom so long as my teacher deems it appropriate. And as I have only begun to learn the ways of the sorcerer, I do not think he will choose to bring me back anytime soon.
And really, our path right now is not Thunder's Edge.
No, it's Aermagh.
Yes.
Do you have a preference?
We still have a couple weeks.
Yeah. Well,
I do not. I believe that any dragon would be pleased and honored to have you by their side when they appeared at your festival, wherever you choose to be.
But you'll be in Aermagh.
I actually am not planning to appear.
Oh.
For Aermagh, I will send Rimidi, as her lair is but a few hours north of the city.
Oh,
Gago, obviously, will be in Thunder's Edge. Aegean has chosen Romani Keep as the site of his appearance. The rest I do not yet know.
the other thing we should point out is that if everyone knows about the Dragon Festival, then it might be a trap.
Not a trap, but it might be.
The Chromatics would know that everyone will be gathered in particular cities on a particular day. It would make a wonderful opportunity for an ambush.
This is very true, and fortunately is something we have considered. There will be those flying sentry around each community for each community's festival.
That is a relief.
If any sort of attack occurs from the Chromatics, at least the community will be alerted and will be able to retreat to some safety before the Chromatics actually arrive. This does not, however, preclude an attack on the ground, but I would assume that each community will have their own constabulary in place.
Indeed.
Do you have any questions of us?
I am just glad to see that you appear to be well. I know that peril is a common element of your lives, and it makes my old heart glad to see that you are still apparently unscathed. And I hope that you continue to be.
Have you any advice for us?
Not so much personal advice, but advice from the Speaker of the Dragons. Don't forget to grow your horde.
We're trying.
Have you any suggestions for how to best do so?
Plunder.
Happen to know where the
Okay.
red dragon we defeated is, do you?
Likely back on their continent. But should you truly wish to travel there and seek it out, I will do what I can to ascertain its location.
I think we'll pass.
Very well.
Is there a particular date by which we need to have grown our horde sufficiently to make the dragons pleased with us?
There are certain age points in a dragon's life where they are expected to have accrued a specific amount for their hordes. Given that such ages are usually measured in half centuries, I would say you have time.
Okay. Phew. We wouldn't want to disappoint. And we are so very new to this idea of being dragonkin. And there's no one that has gone ahead of us that we could ask these questions of.
How comfortable are you beneath the surface of the ocean?
I've been a few inches below the surface of the ocean for a minute or two.
This would be significantly longer than that.
Oh.
Remember, she just learned how to swim.
Oh, yes. I could ask Remedy to keep her eyes out for shipwrecks.
Oh.
That would be neat.
Oh, that would be fun.
And perhaps, should she find one or two, they could be investigated, and anything that they were carrying when they went down that remains could be claimed and added to your hoard.
A salvage.
Ooh.
Excellent.
That would
I
be
love
wonderful.
that idea.
Right now, we're just incredibly busy.
Of course. Well, if this should be something that you desire, you need only communicate that desire to me, and I will pass it along.
Wonderful. Thank you.
I wonder if we can get paid for cleaning out Strafferman's End.
Well, she did make it sound like there were others that would be supportive. Some might be financially supportive.
Not in Strassman's End. There is no money to be made there.
Well, he's probably got quite the
True. I meant by the folk we would
feeling
liberate.
that we'll end up giving that to those we liberate.
Mother Tassa is just sort of looking around the space.
I roll to see if I notice.
Well, it's easy to see. You start talking amongst yourselves, and she just kind of looks up, and
Okay.
slight smile on her face.
Sorry.
No, it's nothing you need apologize for. It's just many happy memories in this space.
What happened here?
Oh, many times, centuries ago, we were invited to hear performances.
Oh,
And we were invited to roundtables where some of the greatest minds would discuss religion and philosophy. And we could appear here as we actually are, and were accepted. I hope for that to be again someday.
That would be
That for you as well.
This is a player question. She hasn't heard the song yet, right?
Oh, she's heard it. She hasn't heard it from Tasha, but she's heard it. They've all heard it.
I glanced. Does Tasha have her lute on her, Annette?
yeah.
Perhaps while we're here, there's time for a private performance.
Well, sure. Would you like me to play the song?
I would, actually. I've heard others' renditions, but to hear a piece from its creator is one of the greatest pleasures.
And then the best
Well.
acoustic in Aecathan.
I get up on the stage and I tune my lute a little.
And she motions you to move toward the stage, like all the rest of you, as she begins to walk backwards.
Oh, goodness.
And then you see her
Take a deep breath.
woof, out to full dragon form, at which point you see this enormous creature fold her wings in, settle down on her haunches, and literally put her massive head on her forepaws and just sit and look at the stage.
That's so cool. That's so cool.
And as Tasha begins to perform the song, that's where we'll take our break.
That's so cool. Yay!
Yay!
So we'll be back in 15. Don't go anywhere. We'll find out what's going to happen next. So, see you in 15. And welcome back. So, as the last notes of the Lost Guardians of Aecathan ring out in the otherwise deserted Citadel on the Faeliferi Sanctum, Mother Tassa, who has been sitting there with her eyes closed, very still, opens them and smiles. I very much appreciate you taking the time to perform that for me, Tasha. It was a good song when I'd heard it before, but now I see that it is indeed a great song.
Oh, that's very kind of you. Thank you.
Thank you. This work that you have done and this song that has been spread will, I think, usher in a new era of cooperation between the metallic dragons and the peoples of the land. And you will have played a significant role in that.
Just doing my job, ma'am.
Well, hopefully it is a job that you enjoy.
Oh, it is.
Because there is such warmth in your voice when you perform this song, and I am very pleased to see that you are making such excellent use of the instrument that I gave you so many months ago.
Yes, it's very useful. Thank you very much.
Little did I know at the time that apparently I was helping you begin your horde. I look back on that now with some amusement. Well, I am certain that you have other responsibilities. Have you any other questions for me before I depart? My plan is to go directly to Remedy and speak to her about these negotiations, and then I will be going to speak with Aegean about beginning to set up the coastal watch.
So the negotiations plus also her promises to him about what the dragons will do.
Yes.
On the eastern side of the coast.
Yes, that is the coastal watch that I spoke of.
Okay.
We will begin to attempt to turn back some, if not all, of the chromatic incursions, at least to the capital city. That I can guarantee.
And we are grateful.
We are. I will tell Warbender.
Very well.
Well, I guess we're gonna go get a little something to eat and meet up with the crew of the Sprite.
The Sprite.
Water boat that is propelled by magic.
Really?
It's completely unique.
Fastest ship in Aecathan.
I thought such magics were lost in the Shattering.
Their engineer is Elven. Maybe something passed along.
She's the only one who knows the spell.
Yes. And we have different, you said that the other side of the other people, we think they don't have any magic, but we actually have magic. Like, I have magic, so.
Well,
So,
I may do a quick flyby to take a look at this sprite.
It's on the south side of the island currently.
And you
Yeah.
are going to be dining with the crew now?
Is that about
Well-
the time it is?
well, yeah. What time is it?
It's evening, so yeah,
Yes,
they're probably
we're-
already there.
We're going to meet them at the Respite Inn.
Good, then I won't alarm anyone if I hover and inspect.
Probably not. They should
Probably
all.
not.
They should all be at dinner.
And I tell her what the boat looks like.
Very interesting. I thought such magics were lost, but it is. I will label it as good news that such a thing is still in the land. I wonder what other surprises I will find in the next months.
I hope they're
I'll
good
quite a
ones.
few.
Well,
Be well.
enjoy your meal, and I'm sure we will speak again.
And I
Be well.
bow.
And you see she sort of sits up, and the massive forepaws, the fingers begin an arcane gesture, and she just gone.
So cool.
You're gonna get wings.
That's amazing.
You'll be able to fly. Are you okay with that?
I mean, yeah.
We're gonna take back Takla soon.
That'd be nice, yeah.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna.
That was on our to-do list, just a little further down.
It was on our to-do
We
list.
promised Aermagh.
You see Athgar just looking a little starstruck, maybe. He just kind of turns and walks over to the wall and kind of slides down at the same time he's pulling parchment and charcoal out of his bag, and he immediately starts scribbling.
Well, yeah.
Are you okay, Athgar?
He holds up his other hand while he's scribbling.
His inspiration has struck him.
Maybe he will write a song. That would be
Maybe.
amusing.
Maybe.
He
We-
writes for a couple minutes and then proceeds to get out. He stops writing and pulls out a vial of liquid that he then sort of sprays across the parchment. And you know basically what he's doing is making the charcoal smudge-proof. He's sort of sealing it. And then he just looks at it and sits it to the side and stands up. Yes, I am a bit amazed, but otherwise fine. I simply wanted to get down everything we've learned before it left my mind. Does one usually end up speaking of matters of such world import when speaking with a dragon?
Well, we've only talked to, I don't know, 6.
Only.
And it only because it deals with world changing consequences. I mean, that's what the dragons are willing to help us do, so we kind of need to figure out a plan of action.
But the existence of a whole other area of the land that we have lost touch with, the dragons creating an aerial net to catch the chromatics and turn them away from Aermagh. The reclamation of Thoth Taksun, this is just...
It's a lot.
These are the tales that we will write, that future generations will read as I read the tales growing up. And
Yes.
to be
So
on
write them better.
to be on the other side of that situation is frankly disturbing.
First-hand knowledge, my boy. First-hand knowledge.
So here's what you need to remember. All of these beings are fallible. They all are messy. They all have traits they'd rather not have. They're not just heroes.
I'm coming to understand that. And I think... Yes, I do not think I will be writing stories. I think I will be writing histories. And in that, as accurate as I'm able. Fallibilities and all.
Good. And it's okay to spice it up. That's important. Because peoples don't don't read history. They read stories.
Yes. And then people like you turned it into song.
Indeed.
And you.
That's not my strength.
Well,
My strength is the written word.
then you will turn it into stories.
I hope.
Songs are written word.
Yes, and should you at some point desire lyrics, I might be able to assist. But as I've found out, when it comes to actually writing the musical part of a song, that's really not where my strength lies.
You just have to practice.
Yes, and I will, but it will never be something that I'm known for. Let's just put it that way.
As you wish.
Especially not when compared with the likes of you.
I had to practice too.
Yes, but there is something to be said for innate talent. And your innate talent lies heavily in the realm of music, whereas mine does not. I can, but it requires much more work for me than for you. Whereas simply the writing, that comes easily. As
All
the
right.
music does for you.
Well, let's go to dinner. We've worked hard.
Yes. He turns around and bends down, picks up the parchment, and kind of blows on it a little bit and checks it in a couple places, and then, satisfied, rolls it up and puts it in his backpack. Lead on. I hear cider calling me. And not the kind we had for breakfast. The trip from the Citadel back to the Respite is short, uneventful. As you enter, even before you get to the door, you hear laughter and conversation.
Does it sound like our crew?
It kind of does. So you walk in, and there they are. They have put 3 tables together. So there's room for them and room for you. And the captain sees you walk in and immediately raises her hand and waves you over and says, "On boto, they're here. Bring out more drinks. They look thirsty."
Boy, are we.
Very much so.
Sit down. Good evening, all. How's it going?
Yarla says, "It's going pretty well. I mean, we're eating now, so that's good. The ship's ready to go."
Oh. Did we give you enough time?
Well, they were a bit lazy about their duties, but yeah, they had enough time. She just kind of grins at him.
Slow and steady.
Mm-hmm. Everybody make a perception check.
Oh.
24.
Oh yeah, you should probably have Athgar do that too.
I rolled a natty 1. I got a 6.
I also rolled a natty 1 and got an 11.
Wow.
Oh, God.
22.
Sorry, 10.
At least yours is plus 10.
Athgar rolled a 27.
Apparently, Gwen and I are in the middle of a conversation as we're walking in.
We are.
Yep.
I'm distracted. Preoccupied, even. It's been a big day.
Those who rolled a 15 or higher hear a bell begin ringing.
Uh-oh.
Arabelle, you know that's an alarm bell.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
What?
What is that?
It's
That's
an
what?
alarm.
An alarm?
Mother Tassa got spotted. Go out back outside.
Dear.
Should we go look?
I follow.
Sure.
I'll go
Me too.
outside.
You see, not far from where you are, a cluster of people, and there are 2 guards, 2 of the folks tasked with guarding, clearly very excited, gesticulating wildly as they're talking. And
Try and get close enough to hear.
you hear you get close enough and you hear, "I'm telling you, the dragons have come this far inland now. What are we gonna do?"
What color was it?
Huh?
Was it a good dragon?
Was it? Oh yeah.
Was it gold?
Was kind of goldish.
Then that's
good
a friend.
Really?
Yes, not a threat.
Completely certain.
But it was really big.
Indeed.
Yes.
And you know how you know it was friendly?
How?
We're not on fire.
The other guard goes, "Yeah." She's got a point.
What is?
We're not on
what is-
fire. Well, but it was... Yes, it was big. He's young and excitable. So that was
when
one
they
of
are
the...
that big, it's a little scary. It is a little scary.
It was unnerving. And I had to follow this one because he was screaming.
Question.
But it was huge.
Mm-hmm.
Aren't you glad they're on our side?
Yeah. But what was it doing here?
Meeting with us.
Wait, he mean, meeting with you?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Apologize for the alarm. We didn't realize that she would be seen.
She was... He looks past you, and you see that the captain's walked out as well. It was looking at your boat, Captain.
She was just curious.
We told her about the sprite and its special abilities.
Really? And she was actually curious
Sure.
about my little boat.
Yes.
Yes.
It did seem really intent, was hovering right next to it.
Well, you've had the great joy to see the Speaker of Dragons.
Wait a minute, the what? The Speaker of Dragons. Unclog your ears.
She's kind of their leader.
She's a big deal.
And she was looking
Yes.
she was looking at the sprite.
Mm-hmm.
She thought the sprite was interesting.
Tell you all about it at dinner.
A dragon thought the sprite was interesting. Wait till I tell Sigrid.
Oh, yes.
She might even smile.
That would be something.
Question out of character.
Mm-hmm.
We are calling her Tassaprunatiel, right? We're just calling her Tassa?
Tassaprunatiel. You basically...
I think the whole name, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
If we say it to anyone.
Mm-hmm.
got it. I just wanted to make sure that I had it correct.
Well, hey, why don't you, since you're so good at running, why don't you go run and tell him to stop ringing the alarm bell?
Ooh, good plan.
Are you absolutely sure?
Yes.
Those are the 4, or at least part of them, okay? That's the captain of the sprite. If they're sure, I'm sure. And if I'm sure, you're sure, go tell them to stop ringing the bell. Yes, sir. And he runs off.
Thank you.
I'm just glad it isn't actually a real alarm. Although, it was really startling. I'm not going to say it in front of the kid, but...
Again, apologies. We didn't realize she would be visible.
Well, you can all, I guess, go back to what you were doing. I'll drag him back down there for the rest of our shift after he gets back.
Thank you for your diligence in looking out for this community.
Wow, you're welcome.
Keep up the good
And,
work.
thanks for the heroing.
We do what we can.
And so he just kind of turns and crosses his arms and begins watching for his partner to come back. Captain Eurobi is still kind of shaking her head as she turns to walk back toward the respite.
Well, let's go back in.
Now I really want a drink.
You really wanted a drink before.
Yes, but I want one now even more. Well,
I dare not.
I think the first round's on me. I think I got something to celebrate.
Perhaps you'll even have the opportunity to meet her one day.
Oh, I'd love that. I'd love to know why she thought it was so interesting and what she thought of it when she actually saw it. And
We tell Sigrid.
Oh, you know what? I think I'll let one of you do that. It'll mean more coming from you than it will coming from me. 'Cause you actually know that dragon. So you can tell her all about it. And she walks back in, and the crew's kind of looking at her like... Barnaby's like, everything's okay.
Everything is
fine.
fine.
Everything's actually a little better than okay. It was a false alarm, but it was a false alarm for a really interesting reason. That I'll let one of these fine folks tell you about.
Zori.
Oh. I tell Sigrith that Tassaprunatiel, the Speaker of Dragons, is excited about her magicking the boat to make it go, and she did a little flyby and got everybody a little riled up, and maybe one day everybody will meet her. We'll see.
She wanted to see the boat.
Yep.
She was interested in the magic.
Said she thought magic of that kind had been lost in the shattering. She was pleased to see that it had survived.
You see a quick, calculating look across Sigrith's face. So, she's seen this sort of magic before.
Didn't say that.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, she didn't say that, but it was perhaps implied.
If it is not too much trouble, I believe I would be interested in speaking with this dragon who has knowledge of such magics. I am still looking for a way to protect it, and I have not made much progress.
We can certainly let her know the next time we speak with her.
I would appreciate that. You'll figure it out. I've got every confidence in you.
But a little extra help wouldn't hurt.
Indeed. As I have already apparently reinvented the wheel, as it were. Perhaps I should not have to do that more.
Yes.
I always knew you were smart. She just kind of glances over and smiles softly at Barnaby and goes back to eating.
Captain, do you have cargo or any business, or have you had everything on hold given recent events?
Everything's been on hold for the most part because we were in dry dock looking for basically waiting for the next assignment, and that was when you all basically said that you needed to come here, and so we came here, and so right now the sprite's pretty empty.
Running lane.
But she'll move even faster to get us all down to Aermagh.
We should definitely be ready for anything, unfortunately.
I always am these days. The river's gotten chancy. Although, I will say that haven't actually seen or heard of any bandit activity in a little while.
We have heard that they seem to be.
Which is, I suppose, both good and bad. Good that they're not bothering us and they're not bothering travelers, but bad in that, where the hell have they gone? What are they up to now?
No. The only thing I know, they're trying to increase watches and things. There is still dragon activity in Aermagh.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So there is a somewhat danger to the sprite.
We've only seen it from afar at this point. We saw it sort of in our aft as we were leaving. One of the attacks started. So we could see shapes flying in the air, and we could see fire and lightning. But we were far enough away that they didn't bother us.
But if you're going to dock there for a bit, just something to consider.
Aye.
I assume Viessa will put it super safely. She basically did say it would be dry docked. I'm pretty sure.
Oh. Well, that's a horse of a different color then.
I'm pretty sure. Can I check to remember that?
You
'Cause
can.
I can't remember.
You can.
That sounds right,
Make a
though.
history check.
Oh, that's not horrible. 18.
Yeah. You remember her saying the word dry dock.
Okay, good. Yeah. So dry dock.
It's still big, and I mean, buildings have been attacked, so
True.
just didn't want to make some promise that it was going to be completely safe in Aermagh either.
Oh, no, I understand. It's not... They're not completely safe anywhere. No one is. Especially not in a city that's being attacked by dragons periodically. But
Right.
probably safer than Costids at this point. I'd almost rather deal with dragons than the fucking Platinum Hammer anymore.
What about...
I can't promise that there won't be any Platinum Hammer people there either, because it sounds like they are trying to infiltrate their way everywhere.
Oh,
I wouldn't,
aye.
be, su-
But
I wouldn't be surprised if the bandits are trying to now be with the.
But
Platinum
I'm guessing that our mutual friend down in Aermagh does a pretty good job of keeping an eye on things, and I'm also fairly sure that she's going to deal with them in a spectacularly lethal fashion should they try anything.
Right?
Most likely.
And more power to her, I say. Nice to
Right.
have that one on your side, I'll say that.
Yeah.
Is that... Sorry, is that typically the only route you run is from Costids to Aermagh, or do you ever go south down to Sandy Cove?
We have actually gone down the river. So we do occasionally run to Sandy Cove through the western. We do not go down the coast on the east.
Right, but through the Southern River.
Aye. Occasionally.
I wonder if that would be better than Aermagh.
Yeah.
Well, yes, but our friend is expecting us in Aermagh, and
And sounds like she's got something planned for safety.
aye. Well,
Okay.
we can go there at least and talk to her and see what she's got in mind for the ship and for us. And if it turns out that it might be better off to go south, then we'll entertain that possibility at that time. Because I surely do want my crew safe and I want the ship safe.
Yeah.
So, however I'm best convinced that can happen, that's what we'll do.
Right.
You say it, Captain. We'll do it.
Right enough. At this point, Anboto comes over with a large tray filled with mugs. And she begins sitting them down, pretty much sort of like grouping them in the middle of each table. And she says, "If the liquid in the cups is light, that would be cider. If it's dark, that would be ale. Take your pick."
Ale it is.
Cider, please.
I take a cider and place it in front of me.
Hard cider?
Aye. That's
Can
what
I
I
get-
asked for.
Can I get either tea or light cider?
Which would you prefer?
I think some cherry cider.
All
Don't get it
right.
often.
Anyone else?
I will take the hard cider on the table.
Very well. I will be back to take orders for food in just a moment. She picks up the now empty tray and heads back to the bar. Athgar is sitting across the table from Gwen, kind of leans forward and says, "Are you all right?"
Fine. It's been a long and tiring day. I have much on my mind.
Would you prefer something else to drink? You didn't say anything, but we could get you something else.
I'm fine, thank you.
All right. At this point, the captain, sensing a lull in the conversation, begins telling a story that clearly is exaggerated, but clearly also that the crew have heard before. Something about a giant fish that made its way up the river and threatened to swallow the sprite. It's clearly meant to be outrageous and entertaining and not at all true. And Anboto comes back, takes food orders, and Athgar actually speaks up when the captain is finished and offers to tell a story from Thunder's Edge about the great sandworm, which turns out was simply a purple worm coated in sand, but it didn't look like a purple worm, and we'll see how well he does here. $17, not bad. And as the food arrives, pretty much the rest of the evening, it becomes a battle of storytelling between Athgar and Captain Yorobi. Each one trying to outdo the other with an outrageous tale. And as it begins to get on toward midnight, after Athgar finishes his latest entry, the captain just slaps the table and says, "If you weren't such a landlubber, I'd invite you to consider a career on the water, because you've certainly got the talent for spinning a wild tale. I think I'll declare this one a draw. You did pretty well. But we've got to be ready to leave at first light in the morning, so we're going to go back and seek our bunks. But don't you worry. We'll be up and ready to go as soon as you make your way down to the docks in the morning."
We will be there bright and early.
All right. Come, my fine crew. Back to the ship. There's a little grumbling from Merlot and Barnaby as they thought maybe they'd get to sleep in the inn again. But they make their way out the door. And Boto comes over. "Is there anything else that I can get for you this evening?"
No, thank you.
One more ale.
Of
Actually,
course.
I think I'm going to call it a night.
Good night, Gwen Lauren. Sleep well.
Thank you.
Good night, Gwen.
And I head upstairs.
Okay.
My drink untouched.
Let's see. Does Athgar notice? Nope. You rolled a 4.
She already said she wasn't drinking, so.
Right.
Did. But she also didn't ask for anything else.
Right.
And so Athgar
She
assumed.
drank nothing. Not just not anything alcoholic, but nothing.
Right.
But he didn't notice. He's actually kind of looking pleased at, you know, his ability, his storytelling performances for the evening.
Lovely.
That was the first time I've attempted to keep up with someone of her level of storytelling. She's very good at it.
She is. But you did all right.
Yeah,
I think I held my own, which is
you did.
something I can be proud of. I wasn't at all sure I'd be able to.
You did great.
I have to admit, I did something a bit questionable. My teachers would be aghast, but
You embellished.
I did.
That was part of the game.
I thought that might be the case, so I thought I would try. It's really not something I've done a lot of. I'm more a storyteller, not a story maker upper.
Well, showed creativity. That's good.
Yeah, I think I did all right. But I also think that now I'm actually a little hoarse. So I'm going to get a glass of water and maybe go turn in myself.
Well, you've had quite the day.
Yeah, you could say that. From one extreme to another and back again.
Yep.
I think I'm gonna head up as well.
That's how it goes.
All right. Well, I will see you all in the morning. If I'm not awake, or at least not out of my room by the time you're ready to go, just pound on the door.
Good night, Athgar.
Good night.
I get up and head upstairs.
Okay. Athgar stops at the bar and gets a glass of water and then follows.
Well, Zori, how did you think today went?
Today went well. We got a lot of our questions answered. Some questions we hadn't even asked. I think it'll be fine. I hope. I mean, it won't be 100% fine because dragons and things, but we have a good plan.
We do have a good plan, and we have good comrades. Oh, but Athgar still has a lot to learn.
Yes, he does.
And he still has no idea how Gwen feels about him.
I don't know. They seemed to be smiling when they came back the second time they talked.
Uh-huh. He's clueless.
We can only lead him as best we can lead him. I mean, like, we can drop hints all the time, but, like...
Oh, no, he's not ready. It's clear. He wouldn't get the hints that we tried to drop on him right now. He's not ready.
It's kind of no longer our problem.
Oh.
It's no longer our issue until it becomes a problem.
Okay. It's just something that I'm going to watch.
Sure. Sure. But they have told each other what they felt they needed to hear. Gosh. They've been told things that they weren't ready to hear.
Yeah.
So at least it's well on the front part of their brains now.
Did you notice that Gwenlaren didn't drink?
Yes.
She's clearly more disturbed than he is.
We'll keep an eye on that too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a lot going on. She just had a really, really hard day the day before.
She did.
And we weren't there to help her.
That's true.
And she now understands that she has a family. I mean, she's going through a lot right now. I mean, we're sisters. She just got new sisters, and that would be a lot for anyone.
That's true. All right, well, let's go to bed.
I'll follow you right up. I'm gonna go get a drink.
I go upstairs.
Okay.
I go out front and just look at the stars. Just for a little while. Just kind of looking at the stars. I'm not leaving.
I just wondered if you like go out and sing a song like somewhere out there. maybe Aloric's out looking at the same stars.
Oh gosh.
Aloric's tending bar at the moment.
All right. So you're not looking at the same guy.
No.
Horrible.
How can you be this cheesy?
Gift. It's a gift.
It is a gift. No, and I'm not gonna be on the two-way walkie-talkie sending stones, being like, "Hey, what are you doing? Just checking in. You can reply to this." I'm not doing that.
I was pooping.
No. I was
Getting wiggy, another drink.
Yeah, probably.
right. Yeah, no, it's not like that. It was gonna be like that, but it can't be right now. It can't. So I just go outside and look at the stars and kind of mark them down in my book and stuff.
All right. Well, you would get a peaceful night's sleep, and a peaceful night's meditation, in Zora's case.
Mm-hmm.
And as the sky begins to grow light, I'm sure Arabelle is already awake. And Zorath would be up and around as well.
Mm-hmm. Probably downstairs already waiting for breakfast. We're eating breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine. I mean, it's not a stretch of the imagination at all.
Nope. Because
Nope.
food.
Because breakfast.
It's the most important meal of the day.
It is.
Well, there's a slight problem in
What?
that the Traveler's Respite doesn't offer breakfast.
Oh.
Then I went
With
out
it-
for donuts
Yes,
Okay.
we
and
went.
came back.
We went to the bakery.
Okay.
I'll go out for donuts and bring some back.
Athgar is no-show. I rolled
I
to
go
see if
get
he would wake
Athgar.
up in time, and I rolled a 2. He's sound asleep.
I'm already down there when they come down.
Okay.
Wake up.
Is it time?
It's time.
All right, I'll be there in 2 minutes.
Okay.
When? How are you feeling? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say pretty much the same thing. Were you able to get some rest?
Not really. It was a difficult night. But I will be fine for traveling today. I'll just get a good breakfast.
Today and all the days, or just today?
I'm not sure what you mean.
Okay. And I just wander off over to the bar.
Okay. Well, there's nobody behind it right now, so.
I know. I just wander over there. Maybe go like reach behind the bar and get like a glass for water or something like that.
Okay.
Lauren,
Yes?
just know you can talk to us if you need to.
There's really nothing to say. I just need to... I need to figure out some things.
Sometimes it helps to figure out with friends, maybe even sisters.
And I am grateful for my sisters. But at this point, I don't even know where to begin, so I think I just need to mull things over a bit more.
Okay.
But thank you. I appreciate your good counsel.
It takes about 5 minutes, not 2, but Athgar does come downstairs, looking like he is still sleepy, but he's dressed and has all his gear. Oh, you got donuts.
We did.
He wanders over to the bar and gets a glass and gets some water and comes back and sits down, and it's just kind of like grabs a pastry.
All right. As soon as he grabs them, I gather them all up. Let's go.
Yep.
Oh,
Sounds great. Let's do that.
he drinks the water and goes and sits the glass back on the bar and
Head off to the Sprite.
okay. You see the normal sort of morning hubbub, from students going to the dining halls and getting ready for classes. A couple of the more adventurous ones actually sort of wave as you head out. You walk down, you find the Sprite, a hive of activity, and you hear a familiar sort of zotting sound and smell ozone. Yeah, that's true. Gwenlauren, you wouldn't know what that is. You actually hear the sound of, since you've heard it in combat, it's the sound of lightning, like a lightning spell being cast, and that's the ozone that you smell.
Interesting.
But no one seems to be the slightest bit concerned with it.
Must be what they're learning today.
Good morning. Welcome aboard. We are ready to go when you are.
We're ready.
All right. Go ahead and put your gear in the wheelhouse, and then make yourselves comfortable.
Alrighty.
I help them onto the boat, both Athgar and Gwen. And then I say, down there is where she works her magic, and show them where to put their stuff.
Okay. It's not difficult. There is a wheelhouse in the center of the
know.
boat, so
But
I dump my gear and head for the bow.
Me too.
Athgar walks over to Arabelle. The captain is up there, yes?
Yes.
Are we allowed up there?
Do I know the answer to that?
No.
We've never
You've never
been up
seen
there.
anybody else but Captain Eurobi up on the bridge.
I think the only time we've been up there is when we got attacked. Generally,
Oh, yeah,
nobody
that's
else is up there.
Oh,
For your first time, you should probably try to make yourself comfortable.
I just thought I could see better from up there, but all right. Suggestions?
I like to watch from the front.
Up at the bow.
Ow.
He kind of looks around the wheelhouse. Is anyone going to be using this rope? You see him pointing at a coil of rope on the deck.
Maybe. You want to tie yourself on?
No, I was thinking of sitting on it.
Oh.
Go ahead. We won't need that till we tie up.
I just make a nest of all my stuff and like lay down close to the wheelhouse. I don't need to see. I've seen it before.
And Athgar proceeds to sort of settle down and pulls out a book and a piece of charcoal.
Starts writing.
Well, not yet.
Oh, he's gonna capture it as he sees it, huh?
Yeah.
Nice.
That would appear to be his plan.
Arabelle
I
heads
know-
to the bow. And
Okay,
Do I notice him?
Watches.
Shit, sorry.
go ahead.
Go ahead, Arabelle.
I'm done.
Notice him take out his book.
Yes.
I say, hey, you can have my book if you want to look at the sky and the stuff that I draw. And I shuffle through my stuff and I like throw my book at him. Not hard, just
You just toss it to him.
yeah.
It hits him in the chest. And he's just kind of like, oh, thank you. And he just kind of looks at it for a minute and then sets it to the side. And you can see he's kind of steeling himself, like he's expecting, like he doesn't quite know what to expect.
Or you can throw it back, it doesn't matter.
No, I want to look at it, and I appreciate you sharing it with me. I'm anticipating. I want to get my reactions and my thoughts down.
Excellent. You'll enjoy it. You might get sick, but you still enjoy it.
Let's hope that's not the case. Well, the water does seem to be very calm at the moment. There doesn't seem to be much of a wind, but unfortunately it is blowing from the southeast, so they're going to be heading into a slight headwind, which will slow things down a little bit, but not a lot.
Okay.
I'm hanging off the front of the bow, looking at the water, checking out the seabirds, looking in the shadow of the boat so that I can see down into the water, and just basically having a blast.
Okay. And you hear a thumping noise. Sounds like someone knocking, and you hear the captain then say, "Right, we're ready to go. Stations, everyone. Hang on to your hats." And without a sound, the ship begins to move forward. And for Gwen and Athgar, it gets up to a pretty good clip. You sort of look back and you see the island getting further away at a pretty rapid pace, and then there's a little bit of a bump and the ship begins to move even faster. And then it moves even faster. And then it starts to bounce as it hits what little waves there are.
I've got my hand sticking out over the side so that I can feel the spray.
Oh, you're feeling the spray even without that.
Cool.
Yes. I need you to make a Constitution save, please. And Athgar is doing the same. Oh dear. So what'd you get?
So I just add my con modifier.
No,
right?
your Constitution
The save?
saving throw.
Okay. So 19.
Okay. You're fine.
I'm having so much fun.
You're fine. Athgar, on the other hand, looks just
Green?
the slightest bit green. Not serious, but he looks like he's having a little bit of a problem adjusting to the motion.
Did he come up with me?
Athgar?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
To the back.
he's sitting
Oh.
on the rope against the front of the wheelhouse.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
And he definitely doesn't look like he's enjoying it quite as much as Gwen is.
I would be hanging on a rope down by the water if I could. As in, I've thought about it and decided that probably it wouldn't be a good idea.
I was just gonna say.
Well,
you
thank God
should,
for that.
But I am not there, so you can do whatever you want.
Well, I'm like looking at it logistically to see if it seems feasible.
Excellent.
Merlo, the ship's druid, walks over to where you're sitting, Zorith, and just kind of squats down and says, "Your friend looks a little off color. Is he gonna be okay?"
Ooh, maybe not. Do you have a bucket?
Well, he just needs to get to the side of the boat, really.
Okay, I'm gonna stand up and I'm gonna walk over to him and I'm gonna say, "Hey," and while I'm talking to him, I'm gonna take my book and put it back in my pocket
Okay.
so that he doesn't accidentally upchuck all over it. And I'm gonna
Right.
say, if you're feeling ill, if you can try to make it to over the edge, that's the smartest thing to do.
I think I'll be okay. It's just... This is significantly different than being on a horse.
Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
And we must be traveling incredibly fast. But
We are.
out here in the middle of the water, there's really nothing to gauge that on.
Well, and I look towards the south because I don't know how far we are. Can we see land yet?
Make a perception check.
Okay. 14 plus perception. 5 is 19.
Okay. You can actually see the shore, but your elven eyes are a bit better than his.
And I point to where it's at, and I say, just watch how quickly we come to the shore, unless it starts to make you more ill, and then don't watch. Because some people's motion sickness is depending on different things, inner ear stuff, visual stuff. I don't know. So I'll just tell him to watch if he wants. If not, don't.
All right. I'll keep a lookout. I think that's what they say, right? Keep a lookout.
Yes.
Okay. I just want to get the vernacular correct.
Pretty sure.
So it takes about an hour and a half
Mm-hmm.
before you feel the sprite slow a little, and you can see clearly that Costed's wave is off to the right, and the captain is headed for the mouth of the river. Now you have a very good sense of how fast the boat is going. And even though it has slowed some, it is still probably 4 or 5 times the speed of a galloping horse. This ship really moves.
I've been so patient for so long. I don't know if I will be able to resist the temptation to lean over the edge and feel the water.
Make a dex check, or dex save.
And this is a save, right?
Yes.
24.
No problem. You basically hook an arm and a leg through the railing and just kind of lean over and dip your hand into the water. You're a little off to the side, so yeah. When you first put your hand in the water, it's almost like the water slaps you. That's how fast you're going. But
so cool.
Afterwards, it's just it's a steady push to try and push your arm back. So you're actually having to use some of your upper body strength to sort of keep your hand where it is.
I'm going to keep playing with the water.
Okay.
Like lowering myself down, lifting back up, putting a foot down.
Okay.
I am keeping careful eye on. I'm at the very front of the boat. I'm watching ahead, both sides of the shore.
Okay. You break into the river, and the ship slows a little more. And the captain yells down, "We're going to have to take a little bit more of a leisurely pace, just in case, so we can maneuver around anything might be in the river, trees, rocks that have come up for some reason. There's always something. But those of you who are up in the prow, keep your eye out and yell if you see anything."
I reluctantly pull myself back up, and I'm soaked, like absolutely drenched from head to toe,
And
super happy about it.
And you need to make another Constitution save.
Let's see. 19.
19. You're cold. Because you left the sanctum and suddenly, oh yeah, winter again. And you've been playing with water that is just a few degrees above freezing.
So I'm like blue,
Yeah.
but like super happy. So
Yeah.
I look over at Arabelle and I'm like, that was so much fun.
And you see clearly she's blue.
Are you back up onto the?
Yeah, she pulled herself back up onto the deck.
I dig a blanket out of my pack and wrap her up.
I cast prestidigitation and
Thanks.
yes.
It was cold, but I wouldn't have missed it for anything. That was amazing. That's one of the coolest things I've done since I went swimming.
Well, I don't want you to die of fever.
Fever?
Yes. you
From
could get-
water?
From getting really cold, you could get a chill and get sick.
We'll make sure she's okay.
Wow. Nobody mentioned that when I went swimming.
It wasn't this cold.
Well, it did get kind of cold there toward the end. But did you see how I was putting my foot in the water, and then I was putting my hand in the water, and then I put my hair in the water? It was amazing. And we were going really fast. Faster than a horse or a camel. Faster than our magic carpet.
True. I'm glad you had fun.
It was very cool. We should do this all the time. This is the best way to travel.
It is lovely. But it can't go all the places that we need to go.
It's too bad.
You are approaching the first of the bridges, and you see it's actually very pretty. There are massive icicles hanging off the bridges.
Also, those could impale you.
Can I reach them? Like if you jump?
No. No, they're much too high.
Thank God. Don't want her to die.
No.
Or impale herself.
But they look so cool. Guess what we don't get in the desert?
Yeah.
Big icicles.
Right.
Guaranteed, like things I haven't seen before. So if I can find a way to get one, I'm going to get one.
Right. All right. Well, you continue on. Let's see here. That's what I need. I need everyone in the prow to make a perception check, please.
Just didn't roll 1 this time. Dirty 20.
$25.
That's me, right?
Yep.
30.
Okay. Well, you're the first one to see it, and then a split second later, Tasha spots it, and then a split second later, Gwenlaren spots it. But it looks like a tree on the riverbank has uprooted and fallen into the river ahead.
Is it a problem?
It's something that if you continue on this course, you'll hit, but it can be easily steered around.
Big
I
tree.
yell. Yeah. As soon as I see it, I would yell.
All right. Athgar stands up. Tree? You hear the captain say, "Aye, good eyes. Don't worry. We've got room to go around." The ship slows a little bit as she navigates over to the starboard side, coming closer to the bank, and maneuvers around the tree at a reasonable clip. And then once she's past it, you feel the sprite pick back up.
Get up, and I walk to the front where everybody is.
Okay.
And I ask anybody, did it look like that tree came down naturally, or did it look like it was cut down? Something to think about.
You, let's see, probably Tasha and Arabelle saw it well enough to see that the roots came out. It basically got overburdened by snowfall.
Zori, did you see?
Her.
What, Pam?
I say that's what we would tell Zori.
Okay. And Gwen, you hear them explain this to Zorith, and
I run over to Zori and say, "Did you see? Did you see how I was playing in the water?"
I did. Did you get warm enough?
Oh yeah, I'm fine. But
Okay.
I was able to like stick my hand in the water, and we were bouncing like this, and I caught a lot of air, and my hair was in the water, and then my foot was in the water, and I was going really, really fast, like faster than a camel or the magic carpet, and it was amazing.
It is. I like water a lot also. It's awe-inspiring, and also something to be wary of at the same time.
I just don't know how you weren't all hanging over the edge of the boat. This was amazing. We should do this all the time.
We've been here before, like, you know, we've done it before, so
So you're saying it's not exciting for you anymore?
oh, it is exciting.
Okay.
It is exciting. Who knows, though? Maybe we'll be headed out on the seas eventually and go seeking deep sea adventures.
That would be wonderful. I think I like sailing. I think we should do more boat adventures.
We'll have to see how that goes.
I bet I can hold my breath a really long time. I bet I could dive all the way under the water and get treasures. No?
You can
No.
practice. Doesn't hurt to practice.
Remember how long I could hold my breath when we were in the cave
Yes.
rescuing the dragons?
A long time.
I may have had a potion, but still it was really cool. And there were fish.
We would definitely need potions.
Many potions.
Many potions.
We should get some potions when we go to the next city that has them.
Maybe we should.
I clap her on the shoulders and I walk back to. They're all up in the front. I'm actually gonna go in the back. Is there anybody in the back checking things out?
You see Sigrith in the back.
Out back?
Yeah.
I'll go and sit near her. Ask her how she's doing, make small talk. And walk out the back.
She replies rather tersely, but you know that Sigrith isn't a big one for talking.
Yep.
But she tells you that, everything seems to be fine.
Okay. And I'm just gonna keep an eye out back. I'm not gonna chit chat at her, but just make my niceties and then sit down and look out the back.
All right.
I'd head back and tell Athgar all about the water and how cool it was. Pretty much the same conversation I just had with Zori.
All right. And he just kind of looks at you like he doesn't quite understand why you're as excited as you are, but he says, "It sounds thrilling. It sounds dangerous."
It was great. And I go back up to watch the water some more.
Well, not but a couple hours later, you find yourself passing under the second bridge. Everything seems to be going fine. Nope, nothing worrisome. And it gets to be about midday, and the captain slows and says, "Right, break out the food. Should all get something to eat. Help keep your strength up, help keep you warm. And Marrow, go ahead and heat up the pot and let's get everybody something warm to drink." And so you see Marrow go in the wheelhouse and come out with that metallic cauldron that you all came up with the idea for, and
Oh yeah, that's right.
and proceeds to fill it, and then begins using druidcraft to heat it until there is liquid that is just faintly steaming. And then he says, "It's ready. Everyone come and help yourself."
I ask Sigrith if she'd like some.
That would be very nice, thank you.
And I'm going to go get some, and then when I bring it back, I'm going to pat her on the shoulder, and I'm going to make her outfit warm like I do with prestidigitation. So that she can be warm while she's sitting back out there.
That was very nice. Thank you.
Yep, no problem. And then I go join everybody else.
I grab some food and tell anybody that will listen that how excited I am about the idea of additional water adventures. And I'm not even noticing as I'm just eating and talking, and then I'm warm and cozy, and I just kind of slump over and fall asleep. Just.
I like it.
Like a toddler just collapses.
Right.
I was thinking puppy, but yes.
I'm not tired.
Right.
It's so exciting. There's so much going on.
Boom.
And then, that's all the energy there. Because I didn't sleep last night, and I didn't really eat or drink. And so now I'm doing all of those things, and it was just too much.
Mid-bite,
Pretty much.
Yeah, right.
food hanging out their mouth. That's so funny.
Yep. I am now slumped over
You
the
see
table.
you see Athgard just kind of like,
I reach over and I do her dress, or I do her outfit as well, so she stays warm while she's laying there. And
okay. And she's wrapped in a blanket too, so.
yeah,
That's the thing. I ate, and I was warm and cozy, and that was the end of it.
That was the end of Gwen, yes.
That was the end. Mm-hmm.
Well, after a bit, you come to the section of the river you remember where it gets very narrow. The
keep our eyes out.
captain slows again.
Definitely.
You don't see anything, and you know up ahead is the third and final bridge before the long stretch until you hit Aermagh. And again, you pass through the Narrows without a problem. You pass under the bridge, again festooned in icicles. And then you hit the space where the river widens out quite a bit, almost into a small lake. And the captain immediately brings the sprite to a faster pace. So I need Arabelle and Tasha, along with Iarla, who are at the front, to make perception checks.
28.
Okay. Iarla's looking and seems not to notice anything. You two, on the other hand, your eyes are drawn to... at first, you think there are like small clumps of ice beneath the surface up ahead. But as you watch, you realize with a start that whatever that is you're seeing is actually coming toward you faster than the shore is.
Ahoy! Watch out for what's coming about.
We have incoming.
And
Well, my sword.
the captain goes, "What in the bloody hell is that?" And just as she says that, the two shapes burst out of the water, and you see long white serpentine bodies and wings that come out as the two white dragons come out of the water. And that's where we're going to stop tonight.
Mother of Pearl.
White dragons. Oh, that's bad. That's really bad.
Two.
Did I
Okay.
wake up?
Big.
No. Not yet.
Are they baby? I mean, like if they're under the water, like
It
are
can't
they
be
as
too
big
huge.
as Mother Tassa?
No. You would estimate they're about the same size, slightly smaller than the red that you fought in Sandy Cove.
Oh Jesus! I hope they're slightly smaller than the red.
Well, but the whites are smaller than the reds, just in general.
Great.
The reds are the biggest. So pretty much any other color is smaller.
Super exciting, and I know, me personally, I know the white is cold damage as related to
Nice.
dragons.
Makes sense,
Yep.
given where we are.
So, next time, we'll be picking up with combat.
And napping.
Yeah.
I
I'll wake you
suspect your nap will be interrupted.
Something
Yes.
needs to wake me
Yep.
up.
Hey, if we survive fighting 2 white dragons, maybe we'll level.
Maybe.
Hey! Hey!
Are you saying we didn't?
No, you didn't.
Right.
Hey, we did lots of
Yes.
character growth these last few episodes.
You did.
did.
You
From
did.
experience.
And I'm taking that into account, but we're not there yet.
Lynn's heart grew 4 sizes that day.
Loathe
But not her hit point.
entirely.
Loathe. Yes, that's what she would say.
Oh my god.
Loathe entirely.
Yep. So, thank you all for watching. As always, remember, stay safe, stay sane. Things are getting nasty again, so be smart about it. You know, take care of yourself and take care of those that you care about, and think about what you plan on doing and how it may impact everyone else that you're around. And hopefully, you'll be well and ready to watch a fight against not 1 but 2 white dragons next time when we welcome you back to the lands of Aecathan. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Night.